Hello, hi there. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michael, and I'll be hosting today's webinar, Funding to Your New Business and Venture. Apologies in advance. I think the fire alarm's about to sort of go off sort of any minute now. So it's just a test. So please do stay online, but don't be alarmed by the loud noise. I've been told that it is coming there. Okay, so welcome, everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick introduction to myself, a quick introduction to the company that I work for, and we'll delve into the ins and outs of the webinar. Just to give you a bit of background information about myself, I graduated with a degree in business and management. First job at university was an accounts assistant, where I did year-end accounts for sole trader, for sole traders, for partnership, and for some limited companies. That included cash bank, reconciliation, VAT returns, self-assessment tax returns, and the general financial bookkeeping for a small business. I then went on to set up various businesses with my family, helped run that for a few years, and then I became a credit officer, a finance officer, and a business advisor. Working with potential entrepreneurs such as yourself in creating business plans, in creating cash flow forecasters, and then submitting that business proposal for startup funding. Hopefully, once they were successful in obtaining startup funding, I also provided them with a mentoring service, just to make sure they had access to the right information and guidance at that crucial stage of their business. So that brings me over to now here at Wenta, where I am a business advisor, pretty much doing the same things I was doing previously as a business advisor. A bit of information about Wenta. We're a social enterprise, a non-profit organization. We have two strands to the business. So one strand is the sort of commercial side, which is that we either own or manage a few business centres in England. We rent out office units, office spaces, workshops for individuals and businesses alike. So we have one here at Enfield. We have one in Stevenage. We have one in Potter's Bar and one in Watford. Any money that is generated from the rental side of things get ploughed back in to the business, allows us to do the free side of things, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Other paid services that we offer a virtual address, registered address service, particularly useful for anybody wanting to set up a limited company, don't want to use their home name. For a small subscription fee, a monthly subscription fee, you can use our business addresses, okay, as your registered address. You can get parcels, you can get letters sent to the centre. We can let you know when they have come for you. You can have a mailbox as well. Give you a key. You can come in and out whenever you sort of please. Other paid services that we offer something called savings. So we have partnered up with a number of organisations, a number of individuals that if you are successful in obtaining their products, their services by our website, they'll give you a small discount or a small benefit, something. Oh, that's the alarm. Well, apologies for that there. So if you're successful in obtaining their products and their services by our website, they will give you some small benefit or some small discount, something that you wouldn't normally be able to get if you went directly to them. So, for example, we've got cybersecurity, we've got social consultant on there. We've got organizations in reference to building and designing a website, and many more sort of offers. We also offer something called Net Zero or Action Zero. So this is a paid subscription service. Okay, it's all about helping you to create greener products, create greener services, and create an overall greener sort of business venture. Doesn't matter how small or how big you are. So it is a tiered paid subscription service. So you first start off with bronze, which is a free taster. You don't need to pay anything, okay? Just to give you a bit of taste of what's to come, to expect. Once you've completed the bronze, you can go to silver, gold, and gold plus, and that is when you need to pay a subscription. Each of those stages, unlocking new material, unlocking new tools, okay? Unlocking new webinars, in helping you create that greener business, that greener product and greener service sort of overview there. If you're interested in any of those paid services, please check out our website. So like I said, any profits that get generated from that side of the business gets plowed back in to allow us to do the free side of the business, which is that we offer free business advice, support, and guidance. So for our one-to-ones, okay, you can organize a one-to-one with a dedicated business advisor over the phone. If you live next to one of our centers or close to one of our centers, you can come in, we can organize a face-to-face. If not, we can do it online, normally by Zoom, as we are sort of doing now. We also offer free webinars on a number of related business subjects, such as this one. We've got other ones, such as business planning, cash flow, social introduction to social media, Facebook for your business, and many more. And we also partner up with other individuals and other organizations to offer other webinars. For example, Google Digital Garage, got a nice little partnership with them. Again, we've got a cybersecurity expert who delivers a webinar on our behalf in partnership with us, social consultant, social media consultant. We've got an accountant as well. So please do check out our website there. So this session is scheduled to last for about 2 hours, but that all depends on how we sort of get along, if there are any questions or any sort of queries. Okay, so normally what happens is the first part of the webinar, okay, goes on for about 45 minutes, depending on any questions, any queries. We'll pause for a short 10-minute break, just allow us to stretch our legs, go for a cup of coffee, go for a little toilet break. And then we'll come back and finish off the last part of the webinar, another 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, again, depending on how we sort of get along. If not, we can get this all done within an hour sometimes, that is. But again, any questions, any queries, please put it in the chat box. I will check it sporadically as I'm presenting. If it's a nice, quick, easy question or query, I can answer it within the webinar. Anything a bit more in-depth, I strongly suggest you book in a free session with one of our business advisors, and we can go into a lot more detail in that dedicated one-to-one over the phone, by Zoom, or in person where needed. You will get a link to the recording after the webinar. That link is valid for another 48 hours once it has been sent out. And you will also get a copy of the slides as well. Okay. What I'm also going to do is I'm also going to just switch off my camera because nobody wants to be staring at me for the next sort of hour and a bit there. As long as you can see the slides, as long as you can hear me, that is the main, most important thing there. Okay, so I'm just going to turn off my camera. Just bear with me for a moment. Right. And again, any questions, any queries, please make use of the chat box. Okay. So again, before I delve into the webinar, this webinar is really designed to give you a bit of guidance. Okay. These are not recommendations. Okay. It is down to you to go out, do the research yourself, and see what is available out there. So this is a sort of guidance on sort of webinar. Help you sort of well, make you aware really that there are various options out there in funding your particular business venture and how big or sort of small it is. Okay, but please again do your own research. This is just for guidance purposes. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. Ooh. Okay, so this is today's content and what we hope to sort of cover. So obviously, as we go into the webinar, we'll go into a lot more details, but we're talking about the 3 Fs. Okay, we're going to be talking about the bank. We're going to be talking about grants, competitions, and awards. We're going to talk about angel investors and venture capitalists. We're going to talk a little bit about crowdfunding, other options out there. And then we're going to talk a bit general about possible funding for your business and for your venture. Okay, so we're going to talk about eligibility and criteria. I'm going to also give you some links to help you sort of get started. Okay, help you get started, point you in the right direction. Okay. And we're going to talk about planning, help, and support that we can give you here at Wenta as well. So this is today's webinar content. So first of all, we're going to start off with the 3 Fs as such, or the 3 Fs that we call it is friends, families, and fools as possible finance for your business. Okay, so when you are sort of borrowing off friends, families, for example, okay, there are advantages and disadvantages of that. Okay, it all depends on a range of points, as you can see on the screen there. Okay, so first of all, it is a good starting point. Okay, a large majority of people setting up businesses, no matter how big or small, the first people that they turn to are their family members, are their friends there. A lot of people even go into business with their friends and family. Some friends and family are more active in the running of the business. Some become silent partners and sort of let you get on with it. Okay, so friends, families, and fools, always a good place to sort of start. Okay, before you go to a bank or any other finance. Okay, because it could be a lot more complicated. Again, all depends on the situation. Okay, it also depends on the relationship as well. It depends if you're on good terms, bad terms, or always in arguments with them, how often you see them. Little things like that you need to pay attention to. Okay, because again, if the relationship is strong there, okay, maybe you might not need a formal agreement. There'll be an informal agreement, okay? Depending on the relationship again, that friend or family member might insist on a more formal arrangement, okay? So when we talk about informal and formal arrangements, okay, just fairly easily, something written down on paper, okay? Get something in writing, which is the further down, okay? Again, I might be setting up a mobile coffee shop, for example. Okay, I need 5,000. Okay, I'm borrowing it off a family member, for example. Okay, they have said to me, yeah, don't worry, pay me back whenever you can. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, or they say, look, every month, okay, you need to pay back £500 for X amount of months. Okay, yeah, just make sure you remember, don't worry about it. Or please, every month, direct debit into my account, or paying by cash every month. Okay, so it could be as informal or as informal as that. Okay, whatever agreement that you can reach with your friends and family. Okay, it might be cheaper as well. Sometimes, not all the time. Again, depends on the relationship you have with them. Your friends and family might not charge you interest. Okay, or they might charge you a cheaper rate of interest. Okay, I have worked with a number of people. They have borrowed, say, 3,000, 4,000 from friends and family, and I've asked them, have they charged you interest? Okay, they said no, they haven't charged me interest. They said, look, pay me, I can pay them back whenever, or on some occasions I pay them back £200 per month. They said next time we go for a meal, you buy a round of drinks, and that is it. Okay, some insist on interest. Okay, if they do insist on interest, again, get something in writing, plan it out. Okay, write it out. Okay, Tom and Lisa have borrowed me 5,000 on this date. We have arranged that I pay them back £200 every month for the next 3-4 years or whatever it may be. Okay, or they've borrowed me £5,000 charged at 3% sort of interest. Okay, so 5,000 plus 3%. This is how much overall that needs to be paid, and these are the payment arrangements there. Okay, make sure you get something in writing. Okay, the reason why we advise that, again, I've worked with a number of people. Okay, they borrow money off friends and family. Okay, 3 months down the line, 4 months down the line, they've got into some arguments. Okay, we agreed that I'll pay you £200 per month for X amount of months. Okay, then the friend and family go, no, we did not agree that at all. We agreed on £500 per month instead of £200 per month. Okay, you agreed to pay me on the first of every month instead of the end of each month there, and they've got into a bit of a spat, got into a bit of argument. So if it's clearly written out for both parties to understand, to refer back to that agreement, okay, it makes life a lot more sort of easier. Okay, and also make sure you can evidence the payment as well. Okay, again, I've worked with a number of people. Okay, borrow money off friends and family. Sometimes they've given cash. Okay, sometimes they've done a bank transfer, for example. Okay, and a cash is sometimes a quick transaction. Okay, they come around their friend's house or family member's house on a Sunday roast. They've given £300. Okay, that is the loan repayment. I don't owe you nothing for this month. Yeah, nice one, sweet. Thank you very much. 1 month down the line, you didn't make September's payment. What's going on? No, I paid you by cash. Remember at the dinner. At the family dinner. Whoa, I don't remember that at all. Are you sure? I said, yes, I'm completely sure. Again, you get into arguments, so make sure that you get evidence. Okay. Even if it's again, depends on how informal or informal it is. Even if it's a quick WhatsApp message, okay, I paid you £300 at the family dinner on this day. Okay, get a response back from them. Say yes, I received payment. Okay, so again, a month, 2 months down the line, Did you pay me? Look back to our messages on WhatsApp, maybe. Okay, that's one way to evidence sort of payment there. Okay, you get acknowledgement that you have paid. Obviously, a simple bank transfer, £300, £400, it is easy there. Okay, just like, again, depending on how informal you want this arrangement to be. Sometimes you pay by cash, sometimes you pay by a bank transfer, whatever it is. So again, some upsides and some downsides to this. Again, I've worked with a number of people, borrow money off friends and family, not being able to meet the repayments, ask for extensions, for example, ask to delay payments, and it's not gone down well. Okay, and that has affected their relationship, I'll say, forever. And then, okay, so again, weigh up the pros and cons there. Okay, people talk about the bank of mum and dad, very popular option, from siblings, from aunties, from uncles, from cousins, whoever it may be. Okay, but just a few factors to take into consideration, that is. Okay, but always a good place to start. And also, if you're borrowing from multiple people as well, okay, make sure you have multiple agreements. Okay, make sure in your sort of your own record keepings and for yourself, okay, that it is clearly written down who have you borrowed money from, what are the payment terms, is interest paid or not there. And every time you pay them, have a separate spreadsheet on something, write it down on paper. Okay, pay by cash this month, pay by direct bank transfer this month, and so forth as well. Just makes life easier for everybody involved in that. Okay, and you never know if you pay back that loan, okay, that money, okay, in a nice professional way, always paid on time, giving them a bit of interest. You never know, they could help you further down the line if you need to expand your business, if you take on a new project, for example, there. Okay, so always keep those relationships open with friends and family. And there. Although I do understand that sometimes it's not always sort of possible, but always a good place to start there. So that is the sort of the easy, less complicated sources of finance for funding your business venture. Okay, so other example where you could go out and raise funding or finance or capital, whatever it may be, to set up your business is through bank. Okay, go into a bank, get finance through them. Okay, so we here at Wenta are not banking experts. Okay, we're not bank loan officers. And for example, again, you need to do your research. Okay, you need to have an idea of what you want. Okay, what you're interested in. Okay, and you need to get in touch with the bank. Okay, so for example, what I did. For example, idea, when I mentioned idea, okay, how much do you need exactly? Okay, don't let the bank tell you how much you need, okay? You should go to the bank with a figure in mind as you have gone to your friends and family with a figure in mind there, okay? Because when you initially make that application, they will run credit checks on you, okay? And for say you wanted to £25,000, okay? If you make an application, they will run a credit check on you, okay? And oh, actually, I don't need 25. I actually need 35. Okay, put another application through. They will run another credit check on you. For example, sometimes they use the same credit report. Okay, and it's valid for another, say, 30 days, 60 days, or whatever it may be. But sometimes they just keep on running credit checks. And if they're running credit checks, that will affect your credit history there. Okay, so you need to go out, find out what's available. Okay, there are many banks out there. Many of them are offering different payment returns. Many of them offering different rates of interest. The interest rate is very much dependent as well on your credit history, how good it is, how bad it is. Okay, but you need to find out what is out there. Okay, pick your top 5 banks, for example. Okay, I don't know, NatWest, Barclays, HSBC, there. Lloyd's, even Metro Bank. Okay, research what is available, how much. Okay, sometimes if you've got an account with them, it can make life a bit easier because they've already got your personal details, and you can make an application for a banking app, maybe. Okay, but again, go out, do your research. Okay, don't be afraid to shop around. Okay, there are certain eligibility criteria. Okay, most basic ones are you have to be a UK citizen, maybe indefinite leave to remain. You've got to be over at least 16 or 18 sometimes, and they will conduct affordability checks on yourself there. Okay, and there are many other sort of eligibility. Okay, normally you can find that information out on the website. Okay, make sure you read every single word. Okay, make sure you even read the small print. Okay. It's a bit like when buying car insurance as well. A lot of people don't read the small print. Okay, a lot of people don't understand that if, for say, car insurance, just for one example, they don't attend call outs if you run out of petrol. That's extra cost added on top. Okay, so make sure you go out, read the small print, shop around. Okay, make sure you fully understand the interest repayments. Okay, the interest repayments will vary. Okay, from bank to bank, depending on your credit history, compared to the loan facility that they're offering. More than likely, they will have a loan calculator, okay, online for you to try out. So if you want to borrow £5,000, this is their rate of interest. This is how much that needs to be repaid back over the lifespan of the loan facility. Okay, some do 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Okay, so again, you need to work out what is financially beneficial to yourself and what is affordable to yourself as well. Okay, so again, don't be afraid to start typing in those numbers, writing it down, seeing what the variation is in all of those banking offers that are available. Okay, don't be afraid to also organize some time with your bank as well, with a loan officer, with the bank manager or credit officer, whoever it may be there. Okay, simply going in, having a conversation with them. Okay, just getting a feel. Okay, what are your options available? Okay, organize that meeting with them if needed. Online, go in and speak to them, call them up, even. Okay. When it comes to bank finance, okay, there is something called secured or unsecured loans. Okay, so a secured loan is probably when you have to put up some of your capital, your assets, okay, against the cost of the loan. Okay, some ask for a guarantor as well. Okay, so that is secured. When you're talking about unsecured, okay, you're talking about, okay, you're just borrowing money, you pay interest back. You don't need to put any assets up. You don't need to have a guarantor on file there. Okay, I think the maximum sort of personal loan is 25,000, I believe. Okay, if you are taking out a loan that is secured, okay, against your assets, okay, don't think that the bank won't go after those assets. They will go after those assets there, okay, within reason. Okay, you could be forced to sell certain assets to cover their loan facility. So again, making sure you go out, do the research, reading the small print. Okay, and when I talk about small print, we're talking about the T's and C's, terms and conditions. What happens if I can't make the payments? Okay, what happens if I need to pay off the loan earlier? Are there penalty fees for early repayments, for example, there? Okay, what happens if I can't pay back the loan? Do they actually come after my assets? Yes, they would, more than likely. If I fall behind, for example, is there a facility in place? Is there a holiday repayment where you don't pay back the principal of the loan, you just pay back the interest of the loan for a short period of time, for example. Then, okay. What happens if I miss one payment or I'm late with one payment? Do they fine me extra? Does the interest rate go up there? So again, making sure you read those small prints there. Okay. Again, credit check. You know, they will run a credit check on you. Okay, they want to know how good your credit history is. Do you have any history of paying back loan facilities, paying them on time, and being responsible with them as well? Okay, so credit check. When it comes to credit check, there is a possibility to fail the credit check. Obviously, okay, if it's a hard search, okay, it will leave a mark on your credit history there. Okay, so again, I worked with a client a while back. He was actually going for loans anywhere and everywhere, all the different banks. He didn't realize every single one of them ran credit checks. It showed up on his credit history. Okay, and when you've got X amount of credit searches, okay, credit history searches in the space of 3 months, maybe 6 months there, okay, it lowered his score, his credit checks score, or his credit score in the end, and he didn't realize there. Okay, so they will do credit checks on you. There are certain things that you can do to improve your credit history. Okay, simply being registered at your home address. Okay, would increase your credit score slightly. Okay, even if it's taken out, you might not have any credit history at all. Okay, I've come across a lot of those individuals. Where possible, go out, get a interest-free credit card. Okay, use it. Okay, for at least 3 months. Okay, for little items, pay it off at the end of every month, every 2 weeks, or whatever it may be. Okay, that will increase your credit score. Okay, there are some things that will automatically knock you out of the eligibility criteria. Okay, so again, if your credit score is too low, you won't be allowed a bank loan, for example. Okay, if you've got any sort of CCJs, current court judgments, if you've been declared bankrupt, discharged yet, if you're in debt relief orders, any debt management plans, okay, more than likely you will fail that credit check there. Okay, again, I worked with an individual recently. They are on a debt relief order, but it's going to be finishing in the next 2 to 3 months there. He wanted advice on rebuilding his credit history, okay? And I offered some suggestions to him. Okay, if you're unsure about your credit history, go out and sign up for a free credit check. Okay, again, these are not recommendations; these are just examples. Okay, ClearScore, I believe they offer a free credit check. Experian, they offer a free credit check depending on what offer they've got going on. Equifax, the same as well. Okay? But if you sign up for any of these free credit checks, make sure that you're unsubscribed from it. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't unsubscribe from it, they will charge you a small fee. Okay. So again, talk about reading the small print. Okay, seeing what is all out there. Again, if you do get to that stage where you're in front of a bank manager, okay, and the loan has been approved, but you're not too sure if you should take it or not, okay, or just want to find out a bit more information, for example, okay, the bank should talk through it all with yourself. They'll be able to advise a lot more better than anybody here at Wenta, because they are the experts, okay. They will talk you through their banks and policies, okay, before you sign on the sort of the dotted line, okay. It could simply be you, okay, going to the bank armed with a business plan template, okay, and asking for a business loan, okay. And based on the merits of the business proposal, your credit history, the application as a whole, they'll either say approved or declined as well. So we cover a little bit about this in our business planning webinar, so please attend that one as well. If you are going to a bank for a loan, okay, for a business loan, okay, always ask them for their templates, if they have any templates that they would like for you to fill out, for example. Okay, but again, get the conversation started. Okay, just because you talk to one bank doesn't mean that is the bank that you're going to go with. Okay, shop around, have some options in front of you. Don't be afraid to look out the door. Just at this stage, you're just getting information. You're just researching. Okay, so anybody that has gone out and got a mortgage before, for example, okay, some people might have hired a mortgage broker, makes life a bit simpler, but you pay a bit more. Some would actually did an online search, for example. Okay, some would have spoken to X, Y, and Z bank, got all the offers in front of them, and decided this one works for me, this one doesn't work for me. I am torn between this application and this application there. Which one should we go for? Okay, and speak to your friends and family as well. They can give you their input. Okay, so these are some of the considerations and many more out there. Okay, when it comes to taking some sort of finance from a bank. So here is where we talk about grants, competitions, and awards. Okay, and there are limitations to grants, awards, and competitions. Okay, so some of the limits that I'm talking about, again, it ties in closely with the eligibility of it. Okay, some of these grant competitions awards are only up to £500, are only up to £5,000, for example, are only up to £10,000 for a specific project. Okay, some of it is locally based, depending on what's happening in your local area. Okay, some of these grant competition awards, they can be national. Okay, but make sure you go out, do the research. A good place to start locally is your council website. Okay, seeing what they've got on offer. Okay, if they have anything on offer, you might find something, you might not find something at the end of the day, but at least you know. Okay, then you can move on to other options, depending if they have something or haven't got anything. Sometimes they might have, but you don't meet the eligibility of them. Okay, so at the moment, a lot of the councils are getting a bit of funding from central government, for example, in reference to Action Zero, to Net Zero, to green ventures, and to green businesses. Okay, so if your business is related to any of those, possibly you could get some finance from them if you meet the eligibility criteria. Okay, and these grant competitions and awards, eligibility plays an important role in you qualifying for it. You might not be successful. There is an application process. Okay, you can either succeed or fail. Okay, so some basic eligibility criteria could be you have to be a local resident. Okay, if it's a local grant, and that is. Okay, the business has to be set up in that local area. Okay, you have to employ a certain amount of people, for example, for funding to be released. You have to provide evidence, okay, before any funding is released, okay, or the next round of funding is released. You might have applied for 10,000. Okay, great. We'll give you upfront 3,000. 6 months down the line, when you can provide evidence that you hired someone, that you paid someone a wage, we will release the other 3,000, maybe. Okay, so make sure you go out, read the criteria, see what is out there. Okay, but with grants, you don't need to pay back anything. Okay, you might need to evidence your work though. Okay, same with the competition and awards as well. Most likely, these are one-off payments. Okay, if you're doing well, okay, if you're expanding the business, for example, you're growing your business, you might qualify for next round if there is a next round, but normally they're just one-off there. They'll give you great exposure, especially if it's a competition and reward as well. Okay, you get great exposure for your business, okay, but they are quite hard to qualify for and to sort of win at the end of the day. Okay, again, some of it is match funded, some of it is percentage funded. Okay, so not well, over 6 months ago, Wenta, okay, we had a grant facility that was match funded. Okay, that could only be used for services. Okay, you couldn't use it for equipment, you couldn't use it for training. So, for example, just say if I wanted to set up as a marketing consultant, okay, I need to create a website. It would cost 3,000. Okay, the Wenta grant funding that's now ended, that has now ceased. Okay, it was match funded. Okay, up to 3,000. Yeah, we'll match 50% of it. So I could have gone out, got a website developer. That website developer could have said it was 6,000. Okay, if you were successful, Wenta would have asked you to pay half, and Wenta the grant would have paid the other half. Okay, we need to have seen that you actually paid. I put down the deposit for sort of 3,000 to pay that website developer before we jumped in with the other half. Okay, so again, make sure you go out, read the criteria, see what is out there. Okay, I've worked with a number of people, a lot of people that have gone through these competition and awards and grants as well. They have not read the eligibility criteria correctly. Okay, they have not paid enough attention to it. Okay, because with these grants, competitions, and awards, there will be an application process. You will be asked to submit a business plan, evidence as well, cash flow forecast, and even. Okay, in that application, in that business plan, you need to address their specific points. You need to address their criteria. Okay, like I said, it could be a grant to help the local community. Okay, you could be providing that, but you haven't gone into enough detail on the benefits, okay, of your business to the local community. Okay, again, if you're hiring somebody, a while back now, I worked on something called the Croydon Loan Fund. Okay, it was for residents and businesses setting up in Croydon. Okay, to be successful for that, that was one of the eligibility criteria. And they also want to know how many people you're looking to employ in the near future as well. Okay, and that gave those particular applicants an edge over others that weren't employing anybody. Okay, not to say that that is a definite defining point that you guaranteed for it, but again, when I was assessing those applications, I looked more favorable on those applications, okay, that were hiring more people. because that will make a more of an impact. Okay, that grant, that competition, that award funding would go a lot longer. It would have benefited a lot more people there. Okay, so again, it's all about shopping around, going out, finding out what's available. Okay, you might have missed a particular deadline for this a grant competition award. More than likely there'll be second round, there'll be third rounds. Okay, they're open every quarter, maybe every 6 months or every year. Okay, again, keep your eyes and ears open. One other option for yourself is angel investors, okay, and venture capitalists, VCs, okay, or even high net worth individuals. Okay, so first of all, who are angel investors? Okay, these are people who invest their own money into a small business, into a small venture, in exchange for a stake in the business. Okay, most likely, but not all the time. It all depends on the angel investor. Okay, it can be anything between sort of 10 to sort of 25%. Okay, you've given up shares of your business, equity within your business. Okay, these angel investors, venture capitalists. Okay, to be honest with you, they're looking to invest into a business. Okay, not always the case. Okay, but they're looking to invest maybe a minimum 250,000 up to 1.5 million, but that varies, like I said. Okay, some venture capitalists, they go a bit more, 2 million plus. So in order to attract that level of investment, you've got to be some type of business to do so. Okay, no offense to any construction workers, okay, or tradesmen out there, but if I'm only after 50,000 for a truck to set up my business as a carpenter, okay, or a jobsman, I am not going to attract that £250,000 investment from there. Okay. However, if I am creating a new artificial intelligence in order to assess applications without the human element of things there, okay, I need 350,000 to pay for prototyping, to pay for the engineers, to pay for the programmers, for example, okay, to pay for the software, okay, then possibly you would attract that investment, £250 up to 1.5 million or £2 million for venture capitalists, maybe. Okay, so again, you've got to be that sort of organization to attract that investment. Sometimes they say high return. Okay, you've got the high return business venture, okay, or the potential to sort of be so. Okay? You've got to be innovative sometimes as well. Okay, but again, that all depends. It's all about going out or shopping around, see what is out there. Okay, again, venture capitalists, high net worth individuals, these characteristics of them are sort of serial entrepreneurs, have been businesses before, want to give a bit back. Maybe they've earned enough money from their ventures. Okay, they're looking to see what else is out there. Okay, get an extra bit of income. Okay, sometimes these investors are also institutional investors as well. Okay, private businesses, even universities, even governments, sometimes there. Okay, so have a little sort of shop around. Okay, the process varies for angel investors and venture capitalists. Okay, but more than likely you will be asked to provide a pitch deck. Okay, a few slides, maybe 10, 12 slides, just outlining, okay, the ins and outs of your business. Okay, a few slides maybe on what actually business is. Okay, how much are you looking to raise? Okay, what is the growth of your business? What is the potential? What's the future of your business there? Okay, getting access to them can be quite sort of difficult. Okay, there are validation rounds, there are seed rounds, there are series rounds there. There are multiple layers of rounds. Okay, so you might pass the first round, second round, but might not reach the third round, fourth and fifth, and so on, for example. Okay, there are pros and cons of angel investors and venture capitalists. Okay, these are just some of them. Okay, not a comprehensive list. Okay, one of the pros is that these venture capitalists and angel investors, more venture capitalists more than angel investors, they will provide you with their time. They will provide you with their expertise. Okay, you can, if they're more of a hands-on investor, they can put you in touch with their networking, with their partners, okay, with the contacts that they have accumulated over the years to help you progress the business and sort of forward. Okay, they'll help you with a strategy, okay, work alongside you, okay, offer you that expert mentoring. And sometimes they do, sometimes they sort of don't. Okay, with angel investors and venture capitalists, most of the time we're after a minority share. Therefore, you, okay, have control over the business overall. Okay, again, they might take a 10–25% share of the business at the seed stage. Okay, as things progress, okay, they might ask for a bit more, put in some extra money if they see potential sort of growth there. But more than likely, you do retain overall sort of control of it. Okay, validation is a pro of this. Okay, when we need validation is by getting that angel investor on board, by getting that venture capitalist on board. Okay, it could help you build up business credibility for any later rounds for investments. Okay, I have secured £250,000 from this angel investor, from this venture capitalist. When I do shows, when I do networking events, if I'm trying to raise further finance, okay, just say it's a pop-up event, okay, I've got a stall, I've got a stand there, okay, I'm inviting people to have that conversation with me. I'm trying to raise finance with other angel investors. So if I can tell this angel investor, I've got this angel investor on board, they have put in 250,000 already, okay, again, that validates my business idea. Okay, those venture angel investors, venture capitalists, they're like, oh, okay, if they invested 250, there must be something good here. Okay, let's talk about it a bit more. Okay, let's develop that relationship, get that conversation going. I might be interested, I might not be interested. Okay, again, some of the cons is sometimes you don't retain full control. Okay, sometimes that angel investor, that venture capitalist might ask for a bit more, 50-50. Okay, or if you go into them, say, I am offering 20%, 25% of the business for 100,000. Okay, they might say, no, that's too much. I'll give you £50,000 for 25% instead. Okay, I'm not sure if anybody's seen Dragon's Den before, but they negotiate, they argue. Okay, it's up to you to say sort of yes or no. When it comes to getting in front of these people, angel investors and venture capitalists, okay, sometimes it's not like a Dragon's Den type situation. Okay, yes, you definitely do pitching. You have to know the ins and outs of your business proposal. Don't get me wrong. Okay. However, don't forget, Dragon's Den is for entertainment purposes there. Okay. Anybody that has followed Dragon's Den, you would know that even the dragons themselves get it wrong. Okay. They have had an opportunity, okay, to invest into a business, be a part of that business. They said, no, the idea doesn't work, the business doesn't work, okay? That person leaves with nothing. They go on to raise other finance and become a huge success as well, okay? So again, don't be worried about rejection. Rejection is part of the game, okay? You might feel like you're giving too much away as well. Okay. Again, you don't know how to value your business sometimes, which is when I talk to people, they're not too sure how much they should go out and raise. Okay, so I'm raising £100,000. I'll give you say 50% of the business. Oh, am I giving too much away? But I'm not sure if I can attract that angel investor and venture capitalist if I'm not giving 50% away, 400,000. Okay, should it be 250,000 instead? So you start to question yourself, and you never and if you do secure that investment, you might get that feeling, okay, I've given way too much away now. Okay, I should have just asked for a lot more, 500,000 maybe, for a 25% share instead of that 50% share I offered them there. Okay, but 50% of 0% raised, okay, is still 0%, and then sometimes this is all risk and things on one. Okay. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it sort of it doesn't there. Okay, but don't be afraid to speak to a number of angel investors, venture capitalists, just to see where you are. Okay, and see if you need to refine your idea, to refine your business and your pitching as well. Okay, again, I've worked with a number of people. They've gone in front of 5, 6 angel investors, venture capitalists there. Every time was a learning curve for them. Every time they found something new, how better to do certain things. Yeah. And it'll be the same for yourself if this is an option for yourself. Okay. So staying with sort of angel investors, okay, after this, I think you'll be right to take a short sort of 10-minute break, if that's okay with everybody. So I'm just going to finish off with sort of angel investors, okay? So in reference to angel investors, again, getting access to them, okay, can be a bit difficult. Okay? It can be a long, drawn-out sort of process there, okay? Go out, do the research, see what's available out there. Are there any networking opportunities out there, okay? Pop-up events held at an Excel Center, for example. Does your local area have any networking opportunity, partnership opportunities there? Okay, you need to be going out, be seen at these events. Okay, some of them are held online, some of them are held in person. Okay, I'd much rather go in person and speak to those angel investors and venture capitalists if there is an opportunity out there. Okay. Get dressed smartly, go with a pitch deck, maybe get the conversation started, go on with a physical or digital business card, start writing down sort of details, okay? That will help you build up your confidence as well, okay? Again, more than likely you will get rejections, more than likely they won't be interested, okay? But with each experience at these networking events, okay, when you speak to these individuals, okay, or institutions, okay, the more you learn from them at the end of the day, okay? Getting access to angel investors, there are subscription fees that you could pay. Okay, when you sign up to a database, okay, you pay a subscription fee. I don't know how much it is. I don't know, £50, £100 sort of per month, and it has a database of high net worth individuals, angel investors, venture capitalists. There, you submit an application, okay, or give an outline of your business. These individuals, they look through that database. If they like what they hear, okay, they will contact you. Even if it's a simple phone call, a simple email. Hi there, Adam. Hi there, Lisa. I've come across your business proposal on the database. I'd like to find out a bit more about it. Can you send me this? Can you send me that? Okay. Let's get the conversation started. Okay, great, fantastic. Okay, just be a bit careful. Okay, you don't give too much away. Okay. There have been instances, for example, where the applicant has given too much away. That person, other person, they've gone out, they've patented it, they've got the legal protection of it, and they've stolen the idea. That has happened. But very rarely. Okay, there are things in place to help you mitigate that. Okay, for example, patenting, okay, copywriting, for example, non-disclosure forms, for example, these can help you in a way protect you against those stolen ideas. Okay, so again, you can sign up for these databases. Okay, there are quite a few online. Make sure you do your sort of research there. Okay, again, you'll see 2 links on the screen just to help you sort of get started, and there are many, many more out there as well. Again, these are just examples; they are not recommendations. Okay. So that is sort of angel investors. Okay, again, it's just to give you an overview of it. Okay, hopefully when you do your research, you'll find out a lot more information about it to see if it's for you. Okay, again, it all depends on your local area as well. If you are a new business, there might be some benefits. Okay, again, not with all local areas, but some councils that operate business centres, for example, they can. Again, it all depends on the offer. They may have a business building and allow you to work from there for free. Okay, get access to their meeting rooms for at least 2 to sort of 3 months. Give you a place to work, for example, there. Okay, get access to the meeting rooms, get access to their photocopying machines. Okay, you have to pay for the photocopying, obviously, but it'll be at a reduced rate compared to if you can go out and sort of do it. Okay, so check out in your local area if there are any of those communal spaces, the entrepreneurial spaces out there that you can use for free as well. Okay, so that concludes sort of angel investors there. If it's okay with everybody, I'd like to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and finish off the last part of the webinar. Maybe another sort of 20 minutes, depending on how we sort of get along there. Okay. Just give us a chance to stretch our legs, go for a cup of coffee, a tea, get a little snack to eat, okay, go for a little toilet break. Okay, so it's 2:50 now. If I say everybody come back at 3 o'clock, if that's okay, and we'll get the last part of the webinar finished. Okay, you can just leave your computer as it is, and I'll come back at 3 p.m. Okay, all right. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. Hi there, hello everybody. Hopefully everybody is back feeling refreshed, managed to sort of stretch their legs, go have a little toilet break, have a little cup of coffee, cup of tea there. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish off the second half of the webinar now. Again, maybe another 10, 15 minutes maybe, depending on how we get along. Last time I did this webinar, it went for an hour and a half because there were a few questions, there were a few queries there, but not to worry, okay? We'll see how we get along, okay? But another maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, okay? So we've discussed sort of angel investors there to give you what to look out for, okay? Also, when it comes to angel investors, make sure you go out and do your research as well, okay? Make sure that the angel investors are genuine, that are sort of certified as well. Angel investments are regulated in the UK by the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. Okay, so again, making sure that they are credible, making sure that you go out sort of do your research as well. Okay. So here we're going to talk a little bit about crowdfunding, okay, and how it sort of works and what sort of is it. Okay, so crowdfunding is the way of sort of raising money, okay, to finance a venture, a business, or even projects. Okay, it allows the person, the fundraiser as such, to raise money through a large number of other people via online sort of platforms. Okay, crowdfunding is often used by startup ventures, startup companies. Okay, for growing businesses. Okay, it's also a way for growing businesses to get access to alternative funding. Maybe friends and family, they can't loan you enough. Bank, they ask for sort of assets or a guarantor, for example, okay? There aren't any competitions, there aren't any awards out there. Crowdfunding could be an option for yourself, okay? So there are different platforms out there, okay? Some of these platforms are aimed at different industries, okay? So as you can see on the screen, again, these are just examples. These are not recommendations, okay? Some of these are more targeted towards tech businesses, okay? Some of these are more targeted to project-based businesses, okay? So again, when it comes to crowdfunding, make sure you go out, you do your research, okay? Reading the small print. So all the criteria that we sort of spoke about before about reading the small print, okay? This is what you have to do for everything, okay? So with crowdfunding, anybody that has contributed, okay? So for example, again, I could be a tradesman. I need to raise, I don't know, £10,000 for a small van to allow me to go about doing my carpentry, to do my sort of business there, okay? So you create a profile in a sense, okay? Put it on these pages. Tell anybody coming across your page, your information. I'm hoping to do this, I'm hoping to do that, this is what I'm hoping to raise, for example, okay? So people, if they come across your page, like what they see, okay? I'll donate £100, I'll donate £10, I'll donate X amount to yourself until you reach your target, okay? Once you've reached your target, okay, anybody that did contribute, for example, you need to give them discounts, you need to give them freebies there, okay? But again, making sure that you read the small print, okay? See what the terms and conditions are, for example, okay? So obviously, GoFundMe is very sort of popular, Kickstarter is sort of popular, and there are many, many, many more out there as well. Okay, so again, some of these are industry specific, okay? Don't be afraid to sort of shop around, find out if it's relevant to yourself. And again, there is criteria involved as well. So just a few links to help you sort of get started there. Okay. Other options out there for yourself. Okay. We're just going to talk about these sort of briefly, each one of these. Okay. Credit unions. Okay. So there are about 500 odd credit unions currently operating in the UK. Okay. Many of them offer business loans at a lower interest rate compared to if you're going to your high street bank. Okay, these are sort of credit unions, community unions. You may have seen them. on your high street, in your local small shopping centre, maybe. Again, don't be afraid to get the conversation started with them. Okay? Organise a time to speak. Check out their websites, for example, okay, and see what is on offer. Compare them to commercial high street lending. Okay, people could go down the asset finance and leasing option. Okay, so instead of buying a piece of equipment outright, in a sense, you sort of rent it. Okay, you lease equipment, for example. Okay, working with a gentleman for gym equipment, setting up his own gym. He doesn't want to spend, not that he doesn't want to spend, sorry, that's sort of the wrong word. It's more beneficial for him, okay, and his business if he leases the equipment. Okay, so anything that goes wrong with the equipment, okay, he'll just return it to the person who sort of owns it there. Okay, and he pays them sort of a monthly rent, okay, a fee to access that equipment. Okay, again, I could be a tradesman. I don't have £10,000 for that truck. Okay, I only have 2,000, so I'll put down the initial deposit down. Okay, I worked out with the dealership every month. I will pay them £300 per month for X amount of months and X amount of years. Okay, there is a bit of interest involved in that. I'll pay a bit more compared to if I could pay for it outright there. But that helps me, for example, helps me with my cash flow, for example. When it comes to asset financing, when it comes to leasing finances, there might be some sort of tax benefits available as well. Okay, so again, don't be too afraid to explore those options. So it's a bit like another individuals that I was working working with previously, setting up a restaurant, setting up a takeaway. To buy this massive cooker, okay, it cost £25,000. Okay, that individual didn't have that sort of finance, therefore he just leased the equipment. Okay, he paid X amount. I can't remember the exact fee now, but he paid X amount per month to use that piece of equipment. Okay. So if he was able to sort of pay it, the business wasn't going well, he had to fold up the business, he will just return the item. There might be a penalty fee incurred, don't get me wrong, okay? But it's a lot cheaper than actually buying it outright sometimes. Okay, so whatever is beneficial for yourself, okay? Start writing out the finances, okay? See what happens, see what it looks like. Okay. Other people or other organizations that you can go to are responsible finance providers. Okay, these type of organizations specialize in lending affordable finance to people or individuals that might not qualify for mainstream sort of lending, such as the high street banks there. So one sort of example of this is Startup Loans Company. I'm not too sure if anybody has heard of them before. So Startup Loans Company, just tell you a bit about them. Startup Loans Company are a subsidiary of the British Business Bank, which is owned by the UK government. So they're not a bank in the sense that they hold deposits. Okay, every funding is from the government. Okay, they could potentially offer you a loan. Okay, anything between £500 to £25,000 based on affordability, based on the credit check. But their credit check will not be as strict as the high street commercial banks. Okay? Obviously, there will be some things that will still knock you out. If your credit history is too poor, if the loan's not affordable, if you're not being declared bankrupt or discharged for sort of at least 2 years, if you're in debt management plans, if you had some defaults recently, obviously those things will sort of knock you out. Okay, but they're less less strict on their criteria. Okay, and one of their eligibility is that you had to have been turned away or failed a bank loan from a commercial bank on the high street. Okay, so again, that's what I mean by reading the eligibility, reading the sort of small print. Okay, you could go to enterprise agencies. Okay, these are sort of independent business support organizations. Okay, they provide businesses with advisory services, sometimes sort of finance. Okay, or point you in the right direction. Maybe they're aware of local sources of funding. Maybe they've got a partnership with local businesses, with the local council to offer you that funding, be it a loan, be a match funding grant, a competition, or an award from there. Okay, so check it out, do your research. Okay, you might want to check out the National Enterprise Network. Okay, this is a network of independent local enterprise agencies in England. There might be one sort of local to yourself. You never sort of do know what is out there. Okay. So these are the other options that are available to yourself. Hopefully, you will be able to find something. Okay, you never do know, or you might not be finding anything. However, at least you've got that research started. Okay, so when the next round of funding comes, when the next sort of grant comes, you know exactly what to do. Okay, it's all about the process of elimination as well. The amount of people that I speak to, I'm not too sure where to go for finance. So I point them in the right direction. Have you considered this? Have you considered that? Have you considered this? Okay, I'll look into those. They've come back 2 weeks, a month later. Okay, none of them are relevant to me because my credit history is too poor. I don't quite meet the criteria for this one. Okay, I'm set up in this area. But then I said, look, at least you know. Okay, let's try some other options. Okay, previously they need to raise 50,000 for a premises. Okay, can you start off smaller? Do you actually need a premises? Can you operate from home for a bit? Okay, and that drastically reduces their price. Again, I've worked with a number of people who want to set up coffee shops from an actual premises on the high street. They need to raise £85,000. Okay, great, fantastic. Go out, find out what the finance is available. Come back, nothing available. I can't get access to 85,000. Okay, then let's see if you can do a mobile coffee shop instead. Okay, you know, get a license, park outside a tube station or a rail station, for example. Get a license from the council. Okay, that set up maybe £5,000 compared to the 85,000. You've got to start somewhere. Let's discuss it. Okay, and they have gone for the cheaper version just for now. Okay, until they expand, until they sort of grow. Okay, there's definitely sort of different options out there. So here on this slide, we're going to talk a little, come towards the end of the webinar, okay? But here is where I like to focus a bit more on the eligibility criteria. So throughout this sort of webinar, I have sort of touched upon it, okay? There is no one size fits all, okay? The bank, that competition, that award, friends and family, angel investors, venture capitalists, that credit union, will have their own eligibility criteria. Okay, they are all different. You definitely need to do the research there. There is no one size fits all, as I said. Okay, so one of those criteria, as I sort of mentioned sort of briefly, is you have to be a UK registered business at least. Okay, maybe you need to be a sole trader, maybe you need to be a limited company, for example, but you have to be based in the UK for tax purposes. Okay, that could be the eligibility criteria. Okay. Some of the loans, funding, the grants, whatever it may be, they are very industry specific, area specific. So again, worked on the Croydon loan fund a good while back. Okay, specifically targeting at people, residents of Croydon, businesses setting up in Croydon, supply chains setting up in Croydon. Okay, in the South Bank, for example, funding for residents of South Bank. Okay, in Haringey, not sure that funding is still going on, but a good few years back it was. Okay, people looking to set up warehouses in the Haringey area. Okay, could have got access to a loan. Okay, at lower interest compared to the commercial banks, for example. Okay, so they're also specifically targeting a particular area, a specific sort of industry, warehousing in the case of Haringey there. Okay, again, I mentioned sort of credit checks as well. More than likely, any loan facility will conduct a credit check. Okay, yes, the slides will be available at the end of the webinar. They might not get sent out to you straight away, but you will eventually sort of get them. Okay, so again, credit checks, loan facilities, okay, they will conduct a credit check on yourself. More than likely, it will be a hard search. Okay, it will leave a footprint. Okay, that's why you've got to be very, very sort of clear that yes, this is the option that I want to go for. Okay, again, with Startup Loans Company, if you do make an application with them, they do a credit check, credit history search on yourself. That credit report is valid for 3 months, so you need to complete your application in those 3 months. If you do not complete the application in those 3 months, they will run another credit check on yourself. And then again, that will leave a footprint. Okay? But again, the criteria is different for everybody. Make sure we find out what it is, if it is relevant to yourself. There are limits on the sort of funding, the grant, the loans, the competition, the rewards out there. It could be a combination of everything, okay, in order to raise finance. I could borrow from friends and family. I could get a loan. Okay? I could enter a competition. I could get a grant, for example. I could go and crowdfund. Okay, you're not just stuck to one option for funding for your business. Okay, again, most of this webinar is focused on actual business ventures and not so much projects within a business. Okay, so you've got to be careful about that. Okay, again, I talked a bit about the match funding already. Again, over 6 months ago, Wenta had an option. We will match fund up to 50%, up to the tune of 3,000. Okay, for services rendered from there. Okay, it could be the same for an application that you're making. Okay, more than likely, if there is some sort of eligibility attached to it, okay, you need to provide evidence of quotes, okay, of supporting documents, and then whatever it may be. Make sure you're clear on that. Would an email suffice? Does it have to be a quote, for example? Okay, do I need to show evidence of payment first? Okay, all little things like that you need to pay attention to. You need to factor that in when you come to your cash flow sort of planning. Okay, when you expect money to come in and out of your business, and there are definitely conditions attached. Okay, to all these facilities and for finance, early repayment, late repayments, little things like that. What happens if you can't pay your loan back? Okay, what happens then? What's the process? Again, there are always conditions attached. Okay, and again, some of them ask for specific use. Okay, some depend on that award finance. Okay, loan, it can't be used. For example, startup loans company. You can't use the loan to pay for training that you need in order to first set up your business. So, for example, if I want to be an electrician, I can't use that loan to pay for training to become an electrician before I can set up. Okay, the reason for that is because I might fail the exams. Okay, and then I've taken a £3,000 loan for training. I have no business at the end. I have no means to repay that loan facility. Okay, so that's definitely straight sort of knockout there. They wanted to consider your application for that. Okay, there are different sort of programs out there. Okay, what I mean by sort of programs is, again, those grants, those facilities, those competitions, those awards. Okay, sometimes those are only project based. They're not helping you set up a business, for example. So I'm a health and well-being advisor. Okay, I'm a limited company. Okay, I'm a profit-making business. I need to raise £5,000 in order to pay for a website development. Okay, but within my business, I have a social element of it. Okay, I'm going to be offering 3 sessions or concessionary fees. Okay, to low-income housing, for example. Okay, you might not qualify for that loan facility. You might not qualify for that grant facility. Okay, because you need that money to set up the website. Okay, again, that specific sort of niche that you're targeting with your food services, okay, it's very nice of you. Don't get me wrong, has social value, but you might not qualify for that level of funding because it's a segment within your business venture. However, if I was a non-profit organization, social enterprise, okay, I was offering my services for free, maybe, okay, and I was reliant on funding, that grant funding, maybe, okay, then possibly you could be eligible for it. Okay, there are payment schemes out there, especially when it comes to loan repayments as well. So with startup loans company, I'm not sure if they still do it, but previously you could work out with them that you didn't have to pay the principal, okay, on the loan. Okay, you can just pay back the interest repayments for at least 3 to 6 months, just to help you with cash flow. Obviously, if you take that option over the lifespan of the loan, it will be a bit more expensive there. Maybe it's inbuilt to agreement if you have trouble paying your loan facility back. we can offer you X, Y, and Z. Okay, again, holiday repayment maybe. Okay, so again, reading the small print, seeing what the terms and conditions are. Okay, again, the eligibility criteria. Okay, it could be a combination of all of these things. Okay, again, no one size fits all. All right. So again, we come towards the end of the webinar now. Okay, so such as some links to help you get started. Okay, Startup Loans Company. I mentioned before, Business Finance Support Finder, database website set up by the government. Go on it. Left-hand side, tick a few boxes. Am I after a grant, loan, equity, what interest, what industry am I in? Other questions, tick, 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 tick. On the right-hand side, it will populate possible funding avenues for yourself. Sometimes you find something, sometimes you don't. Okay. National Lottery funding. Again, this is more sort of community-based businesses, ventures, projects. Okay. Arts Council is the same. Innovate UK, do technology, AI, that sort of thing. You could possibly go to them. Okay. Funding Circle, maybe people have heard of them. A commercial lender. Okay. You can. They can loan you money based on the merits of your business proposal for startups, for growth. Okay. For businesses that will be trading for X amount of years. Sometimes the interest can be a bit high, but again, it's all about shopping around, doing your research. So, again, come towards the end of the webinar now. Help with planning and support. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, Wenta here, we offer free business advice, support, and guidance. Okay, you can book in a free session, okay, with one of our business advisors. Come in, meet us there face to face if you live next to one of our centres. Okay. We can organize a telephone call, a Zoom call, for example. We can review your business proposal, your pitch decks, your documents. Okay? We won't write it out for you, i.e. the business plan and cash flow, but we can give you suggestions, a bit of guidance on how to improve on it. We can give your grant application a once over if you choose to do so. Okay? We can assist you in that sort of process if need be. Okay? No guarantee of success there. Okay? So we offer other webinars, okay? How to write a business plan, cash flow for your business, like I mentioned before. That could help you when you come to make an application for whatever loan facility, whatever grant, competition, award. That could help you. We've got templates, business plan templates, cash flow forecast templates on our website as well that you can download for free. Okay? In the search box, just type in business plan template, cash flow forecast template, and you can download a free copy. Compare that to any other templates that you have. I know Startup Loans Company, they have free templates that you can download as well. Okay, you know, compare the two. Okay, or you might have your own one. Okay, but if you are going to a bank, for example, or if you go to anybody in terms of finance, ask them, do they have a template that they would like for you to use as well? Okay, by using their templates, okay, it just makes their life a bit easier when it comes to a decision. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the webinar now. Again, just some other links, the Wenta sort of contact details on the right-hand side there, just to help you get started. You will get a copy of these slides. Okay, so you don't need to frantically sort of write any of these down. Okay, you will get a copy of the slides, and also, like I said before, do your own research, see what is out there. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the webinar now. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. I'm also going to put on my camera. Okay. So I've just checked the chat box. There aren't any questions or any queries apart from will slides be available? Yes, they will be available. So thank you for joining me this afternoon. Hopefully we pointed you in the right direction, offered you a bit of guidance, your options to consider. Again, it is down to you to go out, do that research, okay, and see what is applicable to yourself. Okay, don't forget to read the small print. Don't forget to sort of pay attention to the eligibility and the criteria. So if you're successful in obtaining a startup loan, it shouldn't affect any funding at all there. I don't know, sometimes a bank might say, okay, we will match fund whatever you can raise. So if you go to startup loans, you raise £10,000, for example, the bank might sort of say, okay, we can offer you £10,000. Okay. What startup loans company will do, if that is the setup, okay, they will take into consideration, okay, just say things would change in 6 months' time, and you might not be eligible for that match funded loan. Or they might ask for a letter from the bank, for example, to say that, yes, we will match fund anything that this individual can raise. But generally, it wouldn't affect your startup loan application. Again, if you're applying for finance, okay, for loans especially, they will run credit searches on you, okay? So when I used to work at startup loans company all those many years ago, we did credit reports, credit checks on individuals, and we saw in the last 3 months, they went to a bank for a loan, they went to this institution for a loan, all of them ran credit checks on them. That left a hard footprint on their credit history, that lowered their credit score. And I wouldn't say it's a concern as such, but we did take it into consideration when we were assessing applications, okay? Why is this person going to all these different places before sort of coming to us, for example, okay? Are they sort of desperate, maybe, okay? Why were they turned away from other people? Okay, so yeah, these question marks there, but overall, it shouldn't affect other funding. I could get funding from startup loans if successful. I can get national lottery funding if I am successful. I can borrow off from friends and family. I can have leasing options, okay, asset leasing options in there. It all depends on what you can get your hands on, but it all comes down to affordability as well. If you're taking too many loans out, the loan provider will see that. Okay, they will assess your profitability, will assess your cash flow. Is this loan facility affordable? Are you too much in debt already? We don't want to, especially from those responsible lenders, such as startup loans company. If they see that you've got too many loans out, loan repayments are quite high, your working capital, your cash flow is quite low, and there's not sort of great growth in your business, okay, they might look less favorable on your application. Okay, but I'm not going to sort of predict what they sort of assess now. It's been a while since I worked for them. Their criteria may have changed, but you know, these are factors that come into consideration. So hopefully that answers your question, your query there. Okay. Are there any other questions or any queries there? Anything at all? No. Okay, then, not to worry. So again, thank you once again for joining me this afternoon. Okay, hope we point you in the right direction. Any questions, any queries, please book in some time with one of our business advisors. We can go into a lot more in depth. Again, this is just a guidance, okay, a brief overview of the potential options out there for yourself. Okay, so yeah, thank you everybody. A lot of thank yous coming through. Cheers. Thank you for your time as well. Hopefully see you soon on any other webinars that I might be hosting. Please feel free to say hi, give you a little shout out, okay? Or I might even be the business advisor that you're allocated to. Okay, so thank you for your time once again. Hope it all goes well for everybody. All right, cheers. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and good luck with raising finance to set up your business venture. All right, cheers. Thank you, everybody. Lots of thanks for coming through. Cheers. Bye. Bye. Bye.